Well, hello everyone. My name is Cade, and I'm glad y'all are all joining us. If y'all don't know me, I'm the secretary of the Association of Orthodontic Laboratory Professionals, the AOLP, and I'm helping to put this little webinar together. So I'm going to do a few housekeeping before we turn it over. And just want I have some notes here so I don't lose my spot. Um, you can, if you've been watching, you have seen comments come in, so you can leave comments and questions in both Facebook and YouTube. Just put them in the chat below, and I can bring them on the screen. Now, questions, we're probably going to put those at the very end of the presentation, and we'll get to as many as we can before our hard cutoff at an hour. For those that are interested in the hour of professional development, oh, let me go back one more thing, and that started way too soon. I want to show this. If you're in Facebook, there is one more thing you have to do, and that is click on this link in the description of the event page, and give StreamYard permission to use your name and your picture when you do a comment. So if you want to comment on Facebook, click that link, give them permission. If you want your hour of professional development for this course, you will need to do it on the AOLP website, which is here. If you're watching on here, if it's right here, just fill out this form here, and I will give you your hour of continuing education. Give me an email if you need the little lab slips. That's grandfather slips here in Texas. So if you don't, you can just email back when you fill out that form. You get an email. Just email back, say I need those slips. So one last thing, those who have not found out or gotten the email, check your spam folder. The AOLP has canceled their event in Dallas that they do along with DLAT. So contact me at updates@dlat.org, and I can either refund your money or transfer you to the March meeting that AOLP is going to be concentrating on to give you an awesome March meeting. And we can transfer your registration from the October event to the next March, which is March 25th through 28th, 2021. So mark that, save that date. That's the next meeting for the AOLP. And so, again, you have two options. One is full refund, or I can transfer. Just email me. Go to your registration email and just reply back to that. There's a third option. DLAT is still having their meeting online and in person. If it's a more of a local show, because people can drive in all over Texas. So if you would like to come to that or watch it on live stream, you can just go to dlat.org and register there. If you need your CE credits before the end of the year, we're doing 16 in that live stream and in person. So without further ado, thank you for everyone. I think we've gotten some people come in and are watching. I would like to throw this now to Lance and let him introduce our other two guests. Lance is the president of the AOLP, and he is also the president of Excel Orthodontics. So I meant to put AOLP in your title there, President AOLP. So Lance, I hope you're doing well in Portland. I'll let you take it over from here.
Thanks, Cade. I appreciate you doing that for us. And I look forward to having conversations with everybody here. If I can't do it individually in the future, I look forward to each one of you taking the time to reach out to me. I'd like to start by saying thank you to a bunch of people who have helped put this together. So let me introduce two people at this point that are participating with this live streaming event, and that is Phil Pellegra from Perfect Finish in New Jersey, and Michael Wright with ODL I don't know your official title. It's ODL in New York. And they've been a part of a journey to get us to this point. And there's one thing about this association that we're continuing is it is a group effort. And I'd like to start off by saying thanks to Chris Gajewski, who had the vision to or the fortitude to get it started in the first place. Without Chris, we may not be where we are today. And so I just wanted to make sure that we gave a shout out to him and those of you who've helped him or been a part of it, be sure to give him a thanks for getting it this far. And I hope that we can continue with his vision in what we're doing today. And I hope that he's able to be here watching this. So he's now one of our past presidents of the AOLP. And I'd like to also put another thank you to Emilio Pozzi, who from Leone, who, when we were discussing some of our options for an organization we were also a part of, he said, guys, I think you need to go kind of a different direction. And he made some suggestions which have brought us to this point. So, and he's been a big part of hopefully, and will continue to be so, which he gave us his blessings to move forward to make this a great organization. So he knows that the industry and has been neglected and ignored by a lot of people, mainly ourselves. We have somewhat of ourselves to blame for not organizing earlier. But let's go ahead and start with, I'll start with a PowerPoint, which should be, through Chris, we have the AOLP. In the past, we've had the WKE. I don't know how many of you have participated in the WKE, which was a group of laboratory owners. We had the Leo Lab group, which had its purpose, and it still has its purpose. We've had the AOL, which is a website or a Facebook group for the executives and the owners and managers of laboratories. The association has been part of the NADL through the DLAT, and I'm happy to say that in February of this year, the NADL has now accepted the AOLP as an affiliate organization to the NADL. So we are no longer under the umbrella of any state association, laboratory association. We are independent for who we are. So we, through the help of a group of people, we've decided that it's a great idea to bring all of these together and to bring it under a single name of the Orthodontic Resource Group. This is the branding that we've chosen through a group of us to create our website and resources that we can bring together and use in my laboratory and your laboratory, no matter what the size of that organization, your organization is. There's a story behind our tagline that we kind of stole from the WKE. In the WKE, it originally stood for We Know Everything. And I'll give credit, I talked to Don Inman a little bit about it, and he doesn't remember telling me this. And I said, well, that's kind of an arrogant name, We Know Everything. And he says, really, it started by a group of people got together and said, as individuals, we know some. And somebody says, yeah, but as a group, we know everything. And that stuck. And he says, it really should have been, as a group, we know more. And when it was discussed about that, it's true. As individuals and individual laboratories, we all know something. We all have something to offer. We have that little bit of information that somebody else might need, that we're hoarding to ourselves. And now we get to have a forum by where we can come together and share that little pearl, as Phil likes to point out, and share it with others and make somebody else's life better. So as a group, we know more. That is the tagline we've chosen. And our mission statement is to facilitate learning, growth through education, and collaboration with professionals in the orthodontic industry. This mission statement isn't strictly to laboratories. It's to the schools, the professors that teach, and the deans of the universities. It's to the doctors. It's to the laboratories. Anybody in the orthodontic profession where there's information to help in growth and development of us as laboratories, as well as giving the information to the doctors that they may need, as simple as why is it important for us to have good impressions, or why should we have separators before we place bands, or fill in the blanks. There's many reasons where we need to collaborate together with other professionals in the field, not just laboratories. So the whole purpose is to kind of make us as a group a viable option to where the doctors will turn to us and we have information to give to them as well. With that, I'm going to turn the time over to Phil, because that's where Phil was going to pick up and talk a little bit about the website.
Michael's going to jump in here.
Michael's going to jump in.
Sure, I'll jump in. Thanks everyone for having us and being guests here. We're super excited about this. We're all lab owners because we're in an industry that we just absolutely love. I've been in this for quite a long time. My dad has been in it, and we've had family that have essentially grew up with the orthodontic laboratory industry. So it's that small niche that we're all super proud of. So as we got together and started looking at just different ways of collaborating, ORG was kind of born from all these different groups. But what we started to see too is we started to see Facebook kind of exploding. We saw, looking at different opportunities to be able to provide digital resources. So what I want to talk about here is one of the main resources that we want to offer is a website. So we're putting significant investment into the digital resources to be able to provide to everybody who wants to be a part of this. Just everything from how to do something, how to make something, different resources from different, all walks of the industry here. So essentially the big goal here is to be able to provide resources, just like the name has, of everything orthodontics. How many times do we all get a call that says, hey, how does this appliance work, or how does that appliance work? How many times are we training, maybe our people the same thing over and over again? We're going to try to hit a lot of those different needs, all in this all-encompassing website. And it's really going to be a content-driven site where it's going to be, there's going to be new articles up there. Weekly, there's going to be new videos that are going to be up there. Here's some of the content ideas here that we're looking at, trending topics, resources, even just product reviews. How does one product differ from another product? How does one appliance, differ from this other appliance? Why would we want to use a distal jet save versus a pendulum appliance? And how do we, how do we articulate that to the doctors? Here we can start to have articles and videos. One of the big things we'll kind of touch on to later, appliance fabrication standards. We are selling medical devices. And don't ever forget that. We have incredible technicians. You all have incredible technicians making these. So we want to keep those standards high. So we want to give some tips and tricks on those, different spotlights. But what, everything from videos to articles, the main goal, yeah, you can take it off to the next page here. Really the main goal is to be able to provide resources through this digital medium. Like I said, from articles that are written, from content, things that are new. And we want to be able to engage, like Lance was saying, everybody from the orthodontic tech to the dean that's over at the university, looking at studies, different theses that are written, being able to provide as much information as we can, because as we're talking about here as a group, we know more. So looking at, the big thing looking at the website here, this is just some of the branding we're looking at, just some of the ideas that we're looking at here as far as how to display it. But, one of the things that me, Lance, and Phil did was we had a roundtable discussion, and it was just a Zoom conversation. And really the three of us were just shooting the breeze about a lot of the different things in the industry. And it was short, it was 5 minutes, but it was a wonderful conversation. We talked about remake, repairs, lab warranties, but we want to continue having these roundtable discussions, just to kind of give that, get that fly in the wall of what kind of happens in a laboratory. Some of the things we're looking at how do you handle maybe the COVID situation right now and have a discussion there. What are the different appliances that you offer? There's quite a few things that we can have a conversation about, and we'd love input. We'd love to have different guests that are on there because you guys have all incredible knowledge, and we want to be able to just have some of those discussions. So we put, this is a great example of some of the things that we'd be putting up there too.
All right, so I'll jump in here. Hey, Lance, bank up 1 second to that previous. So I'm Phil, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak today. This is my 36th year in the industry, and I'm super excited about this. site. It's been something that we've been working on for quite a number of months here. But I'll jump off of what Mike was saying about our roundtable. It was really exciting because for those of you who own a lab or the techs that have been on the phone with assistants and doctors, you know that this is probably a really sensitive subject when you talk about remakes, warranties, and repairs, because there are charges involved here. And I feel like we really dove into this. We were super honest, and it was really interesting for me to just listen to Michael and Lance too. So this will be a recording that'll be available on the website. We want to do many like this, but it's just something to share that we can all take little pearls from, and just kind of be sensitive to the fact that there's different situations that happen within our industry. For example, like with repairs right now, we've maybe slightly altered our repair policy with COVID. Some labs might decide not to take repairs right now, and I get it. We still do, but that's an individual thing, and you could be restrictive. So we want to encourage everyone to submit content. Lance, yeah, you could jump on to the next one, because this site is like the two gentlemen before me said, it's for orthodontists, technicians, assistants, vendors, DSOs, lab administrators. It's for everybody. We want to encourage everyone to submit content. This is an example of an article that Don Inman wrote. It's just an article on the challenges that we have with fixed work in the digital world. We all know those challenges, and he wrote a little article about it. So I'm hoping that we'll receive a lot of articles. This is something else that Don put together. Again, a little pearl or a gold nugget or a technique that Lance alluded to it before. He had a problem where doctors were scanning the patients, then placing separators after they scanned them. Molars were shifting because of the separators, and then they were having challenges to seat the RPE later because molars had shifted, and he was trying to describe to them possibly why they had a problem. And he put together this little post or article and sent it out to his accounts to actually try to explain to them what had happened with the molar distalization from the separators and why it was a challenge for them.
So I want to intervene a little bit here to talk a little bit. So everything that Phil and Michael mentioned there recently this is information. What you do as individually in your laboratory is up to you. If you want to use some of that information that is provided on the website, there's multiple ways that you can use it. And so in no way in the roundtable does anyone say, well, everybody has to do it a certain way. We're just sharing information so people can glean what they need to. Ultimately, it's how you want to manage your own laboratory, but at least you have a more than one person. You're not making all your decisions based on just what you personally feel at that time. You have other people. Now, we talked about appliance fabrication standards, and this is just kind of a layout. These are placeholders, and this we decided this would be showing up on the website like this, and so we would have, in this case, it's different expanders. The illustrations aren't quite accurate at this point, but we have different type of expanders. We have a 2-arm, a 4-arm, fan expanders, and so on. And what you would do is you would click on one of these one of these illustrations, and then you get fabrication standards that we as an industry have adopted. We write them together, we vet them together, they're all approved, and everybody approves them. It then becomes a reference for us to use as standard operating procedures in our laboratories. And many of you may have already had some of these done, and many of you wouldn't. So but at least we have a basis by which everything starts from that we've agreed on. And if you're in your laboratory, you decide that you're going to always go to the 4s, I'm picking on the banded RPE, you would be able to choose to have your standard in your laboratory only go to the 4s, but the industry standard in this case is written that it extends to the mesial of the of the threes. And so what this does is it brings clarity to the doctors. What's fascinating to me is every once in a while a doctor will say, "Well, do you guys even know what are the standards of the industry?" And I've often had to say, "Well, we have none." And now we would have something a basis to go on. And as we were collaborating as a group, what type of picture we should use, it was come up that an illustration would be better because it removes subjectivity, and so that's why this was chosen. And if you notice, we have what the components are, the suggested material, different options that can be added, and then what those fabrication standards are. Now, if you don't like what those standards are, you can then make a petition, or there's a place on the website where you're able to give feedback, and then it will go through a continued vetting process, decide if it needs to be adopted or changed. It also gives us an opportunity to say what are the standards, and then as a group we can come together and establish what they are. So we've chosen some easy ones at this point. So this will be available on the website, and this is one that I think will be used by maybe in the schooling a little bit more, because it's a resource where they can say to the students who are in school, this is what that's how the appliances should be made based on what the school teaches. So there's more to come on that, but look forward to about 30 to 40 appliances coming out on the website when the website starts. So we have about 30 of them done, and they're still opening. We're still in the vetting process right now.
This is an example of a product video. This is just an animation, showing what can be accomplished with clear aligners. We have many examples of this, and these can be, again, submitted through the site. We're going to have a tab on the top of the landing page where you could submit. This is an educational appliance video. I love this one. For those of you who use the leaf spring, many times there's a lot of questions about actually how it activates. The doctors and the assistants or even the techs don't understand it. They say you turn the screw, I don't see it opening, because when you turn the screw, it's compressing the leaves. So it's hard to talk about over the phone and describe how it activates. But this video, I could share it. It's going to be on the site. It's really great to show everyone actually how it operates. And this is another example of appliance education that we'll have on the site. This happened to
So
be
the first thing we
submitted
do
from a
is we
doctor.
use Reliance primer on the TAD expander. And then we're going to align it with.
That's good, Lance. So basically what this was is a doctor submitted a video about how she was cementing a acrylic TAD expander. She also provided to me activation of a TAD expander and the placement of TADs in a patient's mouth. It was kind of interesting to see because I've never witnessed that. The actual using the driver and driving the TADs in. So we're hoping that doctors see a benefit in this. They have their own Facebook pages that they share information, but this could also be a resource for them as doctors submit videos. It can be a part of the reference library that we're going to establish. So I encourage, as time goes on, we want this to be the go-to site. Our dream is for people to be regularly checking this in our industry as time goes on. We also have lined up some different people in the industry that Steve Zarza, who has over 14,000 YouTube subscribers. He has a whole video library of things that we can incorporate. I know, Steve, you're listening, and just something as simple as a video that me and my manager Megan put together a while ago for activating a finger spring. We have had over 23,000 views on this because there's a lot of confusion sometimes for assistants, technicians, doctors on how to describe how to activate a finger spring. They overactivate it, they activate it improperly, they don't know how to deactivate it. So that also, things like that could be part of this resource library. As you can see, I'm really excited about it, but I just see it would be great to have a place where everything is all in one spot where we could all go to and share.
One other thing that I look forward to is I've been in the industry now almost 40 years. Next year it'll be my 40th year. And there's some people that have been a big influence in my life, and there's people I know that are a big part of the industry, whom I want to highlight as individuals, but I also like the idea of being able to spotlight their laboratories and some of the things that they've done. I've shared. I won't go into specifics, but there's some people in many of our lives that I think need to be highlighted. We have people now that have been doing it a long time, and I think that we owe some of the people who've been very open with the information and shared it with people like myself is how I've learned, and I want to highlight and give them credit to some of the things that they've offered to the industry. So I hope that we incorporate some of our legends and maybe have our wall of fame somewhere that we can give credit to, Michael's dad and Christian Sourman's dad, whom I admire a great deal. And some of these individuals that have been around a long time, and I want to highlight them and give them a voice to say what they want to say. So that is one of the things I want to incorporate, just to make it personal to each one of us, because everybody needs to know kind of where the information started from, because there was no school at first at all to learn this. So I'll turn the
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm going to jump on what we're going to be doing as far as just collaboration and different outreach groups here. So one of the things that has helped me immensely, and it still happens all the time, is I'll have a question and I'll post it on one of the Facebook groups, and literally within 3 minutes I'll have an answer. Whether it's I can't find this certain supply, or I'm not sure how to make something. What do you guys do? And and by the end of the day, I probably have 20 responses. So I think the Facebook groups that we currently have, there's an incredible amount of value. And what we want to do is we want to start to consolidate some of the groups into two main groups here. One is the Orthodontic Resource Group, which is going to be the main Facebook group. But then there's going to be what we call the ORG Executive Group, and I'll get into that in a second. But the Orthodontic Resource Group, it's currently what we normally see, which is anybody can join, doctors and technicians, anybody who just loves orthodontics to be able to ask the question, showcase an appliance. It's really just an open forum to be able to talk about all things orthodontics. That we think is going to be certainly helpful, and it's going to be really a much bigger group. But something I want to focus on too is going to be the ORG Executive Group, and really the point of this group is it's essentially an owners and managers group. And the point of it is to be able to have owners and managers, as the name implies, to be able to have a venue to be able to communicate with each other. Just because some of the stuff that we talk about, when we're running a laboratory, there's some sensitivity there. But it takes us out of, say, the day-to-day, and it's going to give us an opportunity to start working on the businesses that we're running as opposed to working in the businesses that we're running. Sometimes you get so far in the weeds, you can't really see what's going on. So the point of this group is to really have, to give us an opportunity to be able to talk about some of these things, more on the business side of things. We get questions all the time. Where should margins be at? How should I handle this employee? What should I do in this situation? There's just certain things that the typical lab owner may not know. Some of us are smaller labs where and you're just not sure what some of the answers are. So we want to be able to provide a forum to be able to ask some of those questions. Of course, there's private messaging, but things that might be really sensitive. But at least there's something out there that exists. So I'm super excited about this because I know that it's just a great way for some of the lab owners to be able to have that outreach and to have a source to be able to ask some of these questions.
Okay, so where do we go from here? In April of this year, if all goes well, we'll be having a AAO meeting on the 24th. The ORG has, through the help of Leone, we have a great spot. We have space set aside for the ORG to be established, where we have the ability to build a brand and receive recognition as a legitimate organization that we hope that the AAO will be able to recognize as the laboratory arm of their industry, because every orthodontist everywhere deals with a lab somewhere, whether it be in-house or whether it be a larger commercial laboratory. And we're going to be, it'll be a coming out party, if you might, where we introduce to the orthodontic AAO the ORG. And we now need to build that brand and have representation at the AAO this year. And so there's a bit of work to be done. So when we run that booth, we want to have the booth where we're representing the ORG, where we will wear shirts and all of our swag will be ORG, and my laboratory will be on the sleeve. My right sleeve is probably what I'll put it on. And other people who participate in the ORG booth will come in the same way. And I encourage you to have your own laboratory name there, and be a part of it, where we can highlight our cases, and it's our lab work, as well as our industry in general. There's a fair bit of details. We don't have exactly the details of how that's going to look and how it's going to be managed, but that is our goal. And between now and then, I hope to be able to find a way to introduce ourselves to the president of the AAO, to let him know that we're there, and possibly get some type of recognition from them as the organization or an association that is directly tied to their industry. And the more we can create that brand, the better off we are, as the place where people will be able to know to go and receive information on how to run their laboratory. So these are just some ideas of some of the branding that we've put together. And these are some of the color palettes that have been put together. So we're not a stagnant group. We have put a lot of time and money into putting this all together. And to get to a part that is important as well is, how do we pay for all of this? And why should we pay for all of this? The reality is it takes a lot of money to put together a website. It takes money to put together a booth and gather the information, or gather all the resources to build a booth. And there's ways that we can do this, and we already have put a substantial amount of money into it. So we have membership dues, whether you come to a meeting or not. It still needs to be paid. So the way we're designing this website is that it's a 365-day a year booth. We want it so that if a doctor's looking for something, that they can come to the ORG booth, which is the website, and get some information that is needed. So inside that website will be the list of the laboratories in their region, probably by state. And so the members will all be listed there. But we need to be able to have money to put that together. We can also get sponsorship through the vendors and different corporations. And we can get also donations as well. And some of the people that we've already worked with have agreed to already donate. That's part of how we've paid for things so far. Some laboratories have put in their own money to get this off and running. And I don't want to say that we have enough, because we don't, but it's still moving forward. But we need, this is the importance of having our membership dues paid. We're not restricting the information that we're having available at this point. What's on the website is available to all. But we hope that the membership that we're doing right now, there's two major things that we want. Number one, we want you to be a paying member, which means you pay into your dues, and we want you to help with content. Because in order to keep this fresh and a place that people want to come and view, we need content, new content. We want to be able to be the place, basically, as the web magazine that are out there, where we can write an article about a challenge we may have with I'll pick on Michael. Yesterday I opened up the LMT, and he had an article written that about dealing with a cleft palate patient. And and we can have it published in the LMT, but we can also have it published, and we don't have permission to use it yet. But we can write articles like that when we're dealing with, a high gummy smile and how a doctor dealt with it, and even glean some of that information from the doctor so that it can be published, and how the laboratory was a part of that. So we are we are a nonprofit. So anything you donate is able to be deducted from your taxes. But the parentheses there, but we still need money. But I want to stress what Phil put in there. It says nobody's getting paid for what they do, and I know how much time Phil and Michael have put into this. They have put, it's every Thursday we have a meeting, and we try and limit them to an hour, and that's been going on for a long, long time. And I know that it's because they believe in it, and we hope that each one of you will want to believe in it as well. The other thing that we're looking for to keep this lively is we will have Zoom meetings where we're going to do training classes on. I'll put a plug for Inman Muller distillizers. So those who want to learn to use the Inman Power component, I've done a video, or I can do an online video on that. And so maybe for a day or for a couple hours, we do an online training on the Inman Power component, and then you get the PowerPoint afterwards with the instructions on how to manufacture it. But those we hope to be able to have more often. And so the funds are going to go to things like many, many things. So that is the introduction to the ORG. The ORG is a group of individuals who know some, but as a group, we know more. And I can't stress that enough. The industry has been great to me. I love it. I'm too young to quit and retire, and I want to leave the industry better than I found it. And that is my goal. So come be a part of it. Help us all as a group to excel in the trade that we've chosen, or that we're in. Hopefully you've chosen it. So we're open for question and answers. Phil, Michael, do you have anything you'd like to say to wrap it up?
No, you did great, Lance.
Nice job, Lance. I just appreciate everybody's comments. So if people have comments, we would love to hear them. We need as much input on this as possible. We're trying to develop this from the ground up. So I appreciate all of you who have already behind the scenes helped. But any comments, email us, send in some things. But shortly, we're going to have the site up. Do we have a launch date yet, Lance?
Well, if the latest I would like to have it up is January, because I want to make sure the content is good, and I would like to do maybe a month of Facebook or advertising, so that they kind of look forward to the launch date. That have a little build up, a little bit more marketing before it goes live. We might get the website or the Facebook opened up a little bit sooner. That's yet to be decided as well. So
if you have some content and you can supply it at any time, you can email it to Lance. And then once the website goes live, like I said earlier, there will be a tab on the landing page, which clearly will give you the opportunity to submit content.
Yeah, so that was one of our first questions, was who will be adding the content?
So great question. If you go through the tab where where you make the suggestions, it will then go through the board, that the ORG board, and we will then reach out to probably the individual who asked for it. And we will create a strategy and decide if, as a group, how it needs to go on and in what format, whether it be a video or an article, or how we can combine it with others to make it successful. So it will be going through a board. It just won't be everybody.
Okay. We have another one from Chris Mendoza, kind of more of a comment. I'm sure the groups are awesome, but for people who don't use Facebook, I'd be interested in an open forum off Facebook. So would there be something like that on the website?
I think that's a question Michael is more equipped to answer than I am.
Yeah, at the moment, I'm not sure how we would do it. I think Facebook right now is probably going to be one of the best venues to be able to facilitate something. But if there is a way to build some kind of forum on the site, it might not be a bad idea. So I certainly appreciate the feedback there.
Yeah,
So maybe a blog on the website.
Yeah, or if a forum and a Facebook could sync somehow, that'd be the ideal, because
Right.
people
Yeah.
like different.
Right. You could build a community, directly on the website. So that would be something that we could build and then just pull information back and forth.
Hey, Chris, can you email me that so that I can make sure it gets on the agenda
Chris
for
Mendoza.
a way of putting that together? Because
Yeah.
I don't want to forget it, because I think it's important.
So while Chris is doing that, Gail had a question. Question: all labs have issues with assistants. Can we have an area to educate them on our requirements?
Another great question. That is one of our purposes. I mean, we dealt the other day with bad impressions and bad scans. We had a little roundtable on that as well, which is more training for the assistants. We're not going in there and showing them how to do it, but we're showing them some of the issues that we have to deal with, so that they can see it firsthand. So, Phil,
Now,
Michael, did you have anything else you wanted to say to that?
That's some good feedback right there, because maybe when we're talking about our video library that we want to incorporate, we could have it segmented into sections. So there could be a video library that would be targeted towards assistants. There probably would be some lap over, with text, but some of them would be directly for assistants, like some of the doctor participated, or some of the technical videos that show about how to operate an appliance. That's a good suggestion.
Yeah, I think one of the dockets is to be able to have a roundtable with assistants, with hygienists, with anybody kind of in the office. We want to have some things with doctors too. Oh, sorry about that. But yeah, sorry. But certainly having people within the industry to be able to have these roundtables is going to be really important to us. So I love this question.
Yeah, and I think you're going to do webinars with certain subjects also, which will, right, webinars like this, and y'all cover a certain subject, and then that will go in the library and I'm sure you can put it into certain
Right.
areas on the website.
Right.
And from that webinar, we
Gail,
cut and paste and create a short video.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Gail, if you had any questions or had any ideas, certainly let us know what those are. That's part of the whole thing of collaboration.
A couple questions from Juan. I think you might have answered this. Is there a committee that vets the content?
Absolutely. I think we have to have that. I think we have to have everything vetted. And who decides who that is? Every year we have right now the ORG membership or board is set up, and it is going through the board at this point. And I guess that's the importance of having a vote at this point on how the ORG board looks like to make that happen. And but at the same time, my hope is that when Phil retires, or Don Inman retires, or Arlen, I'm picking on him, I hope he's listening. I hope that they want to be part of that vetting or maybe keep their fingers in the business a little bit and help us vet what might be necessary to go in there, or even some of the content. So.
Okay, good. And from your neck of the wood, Lance, Trace, she wants to know what the memberships will be.
Right now, what is listed on the AOLP website. We're going to make a review of that, and maybe we will make some adjustments. But right now, currently, it's what the AOLP website looks like at this point. So.
Oh, and so she did do a follow up. I think you not taking them currently, but in the future, unless AOLP memberships apply.
that is something we have to address. We were more worried about what we were going to say than how much we were going to charge for it. So I think that we'll start from where the AOLP is at this point and decide if it's adequate or if it needs to be just adjusted. So.
And then, here's a comment from Alan and Dina. Hello from Texas, EOL. We love the idea of sharing on troubleshooting problems between labs and doctors' offices. The RPE issue really helped me last week.
Fantastic. That's our goal.
That was the old one. And then Facebook user, love these ideas. Need to come together as industry for a really long time. Great job, and I'm happy to support this effort in any way I can. And another one question: is this thing weekly that we're doing? I don't think it's going to be weekly. I
don't have that much time.
Well, I do feel like that as we get closer to the launch, we're definitely going to have another one so we can present it in more of a finished product. But I love the feedback so far because Michael and I and Lance have been very open in saying that we're also all of us very open in sharing. For any of those who know all three of us, we've been very open in sharing information in our industry. And that's the way I feel about being in this long. I want to be able to pass along what I've learned over all these years to the younger technicians and assistants and everybody in our industry. So I'm really excited about the feedback.
One of the things that I want to point out a little bit what Phil just mentioned. We're peers, and but we're also competitors. But it doesn't mean we have to be enemies. We don't. If I can make somebody's life better by sharing a little information, I'm happy to be a peer. And I want to be a peer to everybody that I know. But at the same time, I know I want to grow my laboratory and I want to make it successful as I can be. And I'm hoping everybody else has the same thing. I don't want to go and stab anyone in the back either. But I want to be a well-known peer. I want to be a peer first and a competitor second, or because we're all there. I don't believe there's a scarcity of work. I think that there's plenty of work to go around for everybody. So anyway, that's just an idea. And that's what Josh says. There is enough market to share for us all. Just don't sell a $30 Holly. And I'm going to agree with that 100%. You know what? We're a for-profit organization, not the ORG, but Excel Orthodontics is a for-profit organization, and everybody here should make a living. And I hope that you make a good living, but $30 retainers doesn't do it. So go out, everybody. And I'm not telling you to price fix here, but I don't want to. We need to make a profit. That's all I'm going to say. One day you meet with me personally, and then we'll have another conversation. So
I thought I'd put something nice on here. It's that Michael and Phil were very open to us when we opened our lab. So it kind of gets to the point that Austin's going to back up here. Just joined ortho, and the ortho techs have way bigger open arms than any other specialty. And I think it's because we were in consolidated confinement for so long. We came out, we wanted to hug everybody.
Yeah. I also think that we're a smaller knit group. There's not as many of us, even the orthodontists. I mean, think about it. There's a few thousand orthodontists compared to hundreds of thousands of GPs. I mean, the industry itself is smaller. It's a tighter group. We generally know each other. And for the most part, I think are more willing to share because we know who we all are.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
So Juan in Florida definitely agrees. Well, it looks like we're at 9-minute mark. Unless some other questions come flying in, we could start saying some last words, some will and testament, I guess.
Well, I just wanted to say thanks for everybody who came. I don't know exactly how many came at this point. So I look forward to hearing from each one of you. Those of you who want to get in touch with me, email me. And if you want to call and have a talk, and I don't have any problem with you emailing me, and I'll give you my number, and we can spend a little time on the phone, and you can tell me your thoughts and your feelings. If you have any input on what you would like to see, a direction you would like to see this go, write it in and be a part of it. In no way is this a one-person show. This is an industry show, and that means it's all of us. And I want to stress once again the tagline. We need each other, and we can be successful as a group. And I look forward to hearing from each one of you. Michael, Phil, anybody?
Not much
I'm
more on
good.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You took it home, Lance.
I'm
All
good.
right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. I can't thank you guys enough. I look forward to this. It's a journey. I hope nobody expects perfection, but we'll work on it. So, all right.
Cool.
Well, and so before we end, just wanted to say, Austin, this is being recorded, so you can keep going back to that web page, and you should be able to rewatch it on Facebook too. So, you can rewatch it.
Kate, can you send this out to the list of everybody?
Yeah.
Send that link so that people can reach out that potentially couldn't make it because a doctor had a rush retainer.
Right. Yeah. And I got a call right before we got on here. So, but
so
it's the same link I sent out. It's the same link will work.
Perfect.
Before. So that's, and then, someone's watching from Greece. Hi, Lance, Cade, Michael, Phil. Good luck with the new AOLP. I'm here if you need anything. And I don't know who that is. You didn't connect your Facebook to this website, but that's fine.
Well, have him reach out to us. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cade, thank you so much for getting this all together as well.
Thanks, Cade. I know
Big
you did a
thanks
lot
to
of work.
Cade for sure.
Yeah.
Appreciate
no problem.
you, Cade.
It's fun. I'm a nerd.
We all are in our own way.
We
Yeah.
appreciate it. We'll take it. We'll take the nerdiness.
Thanks again, Phil, Michael, and truly everybody who's made this possible. So
excellent.
Wonderful.
So I'll end it here, and we'll see y'all in the next one.
That'd be great.
Great.
Well,
thanks, everybody.
Look forward to it. Thanks.
Bye.